My name is Claudell Clark, and welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner. I'm President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau, and I'm here today with Mr. George Pilkington, owner of Universal Termite and Pest. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good. Well, as we talked a little bit before the show started, just the parallels of coaching and business, and we had so many parallels we saw in our office to start this show, Coach's Corner. So we're here in another edition, and we're happy to be here with you. Certainly a great supporter of our organization, so we do appreciate you for that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Love it.
But we'll get right into it. How did you come about to start this termite business, or get into the termite business, or start this termite company? You know, where did that seed come from? Where did that story or inspiration come from?
Well, I think I'm similar as a lot of business owners. I knew very early on I couldn't work for anyone, so I had to be my own boss. So whether it was going to be pest control or whatever, I knew early on that it was just going to be me.
Right. Well, what were some of the defining moments early on that said, "Hey, look, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to make it. We can pull this staff together. We can scale up, and we can be successful in this business." When was that turning point?
Well, I think it's when you start out small, and I was a one-man show. I was a door-to-door guy. I went door-to-door selling pest control. And it just had grown on its own, and before you know it, you're forced to add an employee here or there. And I think if you do the right thing every single day, a lot of it just happens on its own. It's easy to say hard work is what can grow a business. Sometimes it's just doing the right thing can grow a business.
That's true. Well, and kind of turning back in the clock, what year was that? When did you start off?
Wow. So I opened Universal in the year 2000. Okay. Prior to that, directly out of high school, Great Bridge High School, I went to work for a larger pest control company. I had a family member who was a officer in the company at the time, and I was told a teenager could never make it in that business, and I did. So I went from one of the larger companies to another large company, and then I opened up my own. So straight out of high school, this is all I've ever done. I've never flipped a burger. I've never done any of that stuff. So this bug world is all I know.
So you know termites through and through. You didn't have to get a degree in termites?
No. I got a degree, okay. I got a degree.
Well, along this coaching lines, you talk about on a team, you talk about an organization, you talk about chemistry. Explain to me about the chemistry and the setting and the culture that you've established here to make you guys so successful.
Well, I think it's people, though. I mean, if you can, some people say you have to be good at reading people, and some people say you have to be good at communicating. Right. I think it's just, if you just kind of treat everyone the right way, and as we were talking about earlier, you can't, when you have a company and you have multiple employees, and right now we have 29 employees, you can't treat everyone the same, and that's a mistake. I think a lot of business owners, they come in with a rule or a regulation and go, this is the way it's going to get done, and it just doesn't work that way. I mean, everyone's has different needs, whether it be communication needs, income needs, social, family. It's different, and then you have to recognize that almost every day when I walk in. I kind of look at faces and I can tell who's in a good mood, who had a good dinner, who slept last night. Right. This is the first thing I do before we even talk about any type of bugs.
Right. So you almost have a 20-man or 29-man team. Or
Yeah,
man
of course. Team. Yeah. That's the roster.
And that's the roster. You got to associate those assess those persons and define those roles. As it relates to coaching techniques, what are some of the things that you use professionally to kind of navigate through those personalities, navigate through that role setting, and kind of overall strategic or operational plan?
Well, I think it's with you. I mean, you were baseball. My background is tennis, and whether it's coaching, I was actually an owner in a club down at the ocean front of Cape Henry Racket Club at one point in time, and you learn kind of how to navigate just through the daily people needs, and everything with me is it's not a year, it's not a month. I do everything day by day. Okay. So and with me, I'm in here. I'm the first one in. I turn the key every morning at 6:30. And when they come in, I have almost every employee come see me, and it gets kind of overwhelming in the morning. But they know with me, they're going to be able to talk to me about whether it be work or what they did last night or what they're going to do this morning.
Wow. So just leading by example.
Of course, yeah.
And just really setting that stage every morning. That's what it takes. People want business, people want success, but they don't understand and realize what it takes on a daily basis to do this. When you're working for an organization, or you're kind of coming up the ladder, you're looking to someone else to do that. But when you're the point person, when you're the owner, you're the president, you have to do these things on a daily basis. That's really neat, and people don't realize that. We talked about this culture of success. But tell us a little bit about when things fail, when things break down, when you don't have such a great quarter or the team's not doing so well. How do you kind of navigate through that?
Well, it's funny because it's simple. You just claim all the wins and you blame all the losses. That's my technique. Of course not. So there's so many more. It's different. It's the same in sports as it is, but there's going to be way more losses than there are wins. And you just try to hang your hat on the wins and try to improve. And sometimes you chalk up a bad decision and over the 24 plus years, I've had quite a few. I think overall, I'm happy with everything that we've done. I'm even happy with the losses. I'm happy with the bad decisions. I think if it did anything, it just made me a better business operator. I think if I knew then what I know now, and we all kind of say that, I think who knows where we would be right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, also in coaching, you have good players and good organization, but folks who, like you said, you see them in the morning, they may be going through some personal things, maybe going through some work things, educational things, professional development things. How do you personally find the motivation to keep all those persons motivated?
Well, it's hard because the buck stops with me. So typically an employee has the opportunity to come in to work tired, sad. In my position, it just can't. When I pull on the lot, it's just everything's going to go out the window. So you kind of have to, and it's not putting on a show. I just know the needs are, and if I show up, and I had this thing where I go, and I've told this to my kids and every employee hears it, is when the elevator door opens up, are you looking at the ground or are you looking them in the eye and saying hello? And I have to be the guy that says hello even when I'm not really in the mood. Right. Sometimes you want to step on the elevator and just look down. And you can't as a business owner. You have to interact with them every single day, even when you're not feeling what they think you look like. So I can project sometimes a big smile on my face, but I'm not always feeling the smile.
That's very understandable. Successful for those 24 years, certainly ups and downs. Very strong member of the BBB, very supportive there. So one may think in coaching, just winning is successful, or in business, you made a certain dollar amount. But what defines success for you personally, and then how do you define success for your organization?
Well, personally, I think that they're one of the same. When you're a business owner and people say, hey, it's business, it's not personal. It's all the same to me. I think if I have an employee or employees that have many, many years, which I do. I have employees that's been here since the very beginning. I have many employees that have been here 10, 15 years. And I think that's kind of where because in business, we have two types of customers. We have the external customer and we have the internal customer. So the external customers sometimes are easier to obtain. The internal ones, which is recruiting, hiring, and maintaining relationships so that they stay, that's the tough part. So if I have the internal customer who's been here 10, 15, 20 years, I think there's success right there.
Right. Just seeing those persons grow, and the professional development of your people, that's so vital and critical, something we do with the BBB all the time. Tell me about that professional development. How do you guys get better? Do you have this termite class or this inspection class, or how to perform these different tasks that the job does? Do you do that, or how does one get better in your profession?
I handle probably 90% of the training classes, and we have 3 a week, depending on the department. And it's not that my management team isn't qualified. I just enjoy it. I love getting in, and we talk about it, and we talk about scenarios and past and what we know and we don't know. And I think in this business, it's such a developing industry with now termite baits that we used to just do a liquid treatment if you had termites. Now a termite baiting system, and we're currently using Centricon, which is the brand of the product. It's just and I love coming up with new stuff, and I think trying new things and expanding the business into new avenues. I think it's just the best thing in the world. I think the evolution of the industry, regardless of the size of the company, over the last 10 years has definitely changed.
Wow. They always say one of the best ways to stay sharp and to grow yourself is to teach others. So that's very neat how you take on that training role your own self in an organization of this size. One of the big things also nowadays is recruitment or the personnel or your building of that team. You say you have 29 people. How do you go about recruiting those persons, and how do you go about retaining them?
Well, recruitment it's a hard thing, because I think the best way to recruit is word of mouth, where they see each other on the street or they see each other in a restaurant in uniform and kind of ask each other, hey, how are things going on the other side of the fence? Is the grass greener or not greener? I think if you retain your employees, I think the recruitment is easier. Obviously, success in your world, success breeds success.
Of course.
And I think by winning, it could be the vehicles that we use. It could be the fact that we have the BBB logo on all of them. I think the fact that whether it be a competitor employee, or a customer sees the BBB logo on all of our print work, I think matters in the grand scheme of things. So I think everyone's attracted. Look, money isn't the overall factor in why people come to work or jump to another business. It's just not the number one factor. They have to have a steady work environment. It has to be safe. It has to be enjoyable, and it just has to work for the whole family for the most part.
Certainly. Well, that's definitely one of the things we concentrate to on the BBB. How do you make this a great overall experience? How do you allow your employees to have buy-in, and then how do you allow them to operate through their passions so that they will push themselves? You talked BBB, of course. So, how have you seen the relationship with the BBB grow? How has that been of importance to you, and what do you think the importance is of having that accreditation?
Well, I think the name alone, I think if anyone sees, in my opinion, if anyone sees the BBB logo, whether it be on vehicles, whether it be on my websites, whether it be on print work, I think it's associated with a great name. And I think in order to be accredited through the BBB, you have to have done some things right. You have to make sure the customers are taken care of. You have to make sure a follow-up on any questions or concerns are taken care of, which we do. I think we do a fantastic job. There is no such thing as a perfect company. What makes the company perfect is what happens when things just aren't right. I think that's what defines it. I think there's so many ratings now on the internet, and you take it with a grain of salt, because it's hey, how fast, not was there a problem, but how fast did you fix the problem or answer the question?
That's true, because things break down in business.
Of course.
Customer service, coaching, business. How do you go back and address those issues?
Of course.
And that's something that we've been very, very, very lucky to have companies such as yourself, A+ rated for many years, to uphold your name and uphold our name. Kind of the final question to kind of wrap this up. We're always looking to the future at the BBB and planning for the future and having this vision. What is your vision for the future of Universal, and how do you guys plan to grow and move into the next 5 or 10 years?
Well, I tell you, the fact that we are a family-owned and operated business, it means a tremendous. I have my daughter, son-in-law works for me now, and I think if it's not uncommon to see kids running around, whether it be my grandkids or other kids running around. And I think that's my goal in the pest control industry. There's a lot of acquisitions going on right now. Big companies become bigger. They gobble up the small ones. And quite honestly, I have no interest in going anywhere. I want to be family owned and operated as long as I can possibly handle it, and then pass this on to my kids.
Okay. Well, they say success is succession. So that's awesome on how you're growing other persons in the organization to one day work alongside you and take over one of these days.
Of course.
So that's really neat. Well, George, I do appreciate this.
Absolutely.
And I look forward to doing this again with you. Thank you for everything that you do for the BBB and the community, and for those who are less fortunate in the community as well. We do appreciate you.
Well, great. And I also want to say thank you for taking the time to come by. I think it means a lot. I think it's easy for an organization as large as the BBB to just say, hey, mail me a check and then we'll put you on the website. And you've done so much more. I think overall, I think coming in, taking the time to, even earlier before we did this section, just sit down and talk about the background and how you yourself have been graduated from the same high school I did. And
Go Wildcats.
Yeah, go Wildcats, exactly. So I think I think it means a lot to me. This local connection, I think, is the key to customer service.
Well, good. Well, we're going to continue to do this, and words and feedback like that kind of power us through to the next activity and the next phase of what we're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.